Hello, my name is ALPEREN. I am in the 10th grade in the Trabzon Sinav College. Welcome my program. I would like to tell you about formation of your Earth. In order to understand the formation of Earth, firstly we must understand the formation of Sun, and which means understand the formation of any star, and which means understand the formation of the universe. As you know, the accepted theory about the formation of the universe is the Big Bang theory. In this theory, the energy released as a result of the big explosion created the universe. The hydrogen atoms released after this explosion, with the effect of high speeds caused by the high temperature, overcome the electromagnetic force, boil moments, and fuse their nuclei, thus forming helium atoms. Helium atoms is more large in mass than hydrogen atoms, so they can easily pull the hydrogen atoms to their side, and so can they easily create a cluster. One day, the numbers of the atoms in this cluster will be so high that stars formed in this way. As you know, the stars are massive celestial bodies, so they create high amount of gravitational force. They resist their gravity with the pressure arising from fusion reactions starting from hydrogen atoms. The amount of the hydrogen atoms is finite in stars, so one day it will end. Okay, what will happen when the amount of the hydrogen atoms will end? The stars will shrink in volume towards the center, and it will be a condensed star, and it will explode and create heavy metals such as iron and something like that into space. And we call this explosion like supernova explosion. As we explained, the elements, atoms, gas and dust clouds scattered into space after supernova explosion are main building blocks of our planet and other planets. In our solar system, our sun was first formed. The remaining materials, gas and dust, that formed the sun also formed our planet and other planets. When the Earth was first formed, was a place without core and mantle. During time, different planets, meteorites, and rocks collided with our Earth. One of these celestial bodies was Theia. The Earth collided with the celestial body and turning the Earth 23 degrees, causing the seasons to form. And our only settled, the Moon, was formed with this collision. Over time, the Earth warmed up with planetary compression, and other planets and the meteorites collided with, reaching 2000 centigrade degrees, which is temperature point which iron melts. At this stage, the Earth's core was formed and it began to settle in the mantle crust. Over time, our planet got colder and it began to settle in the mantle crust. And with earthquakes and volcanism caused by the mantle, our planets began to take its current form. Now here is how water is formed in the universe in the first place. Water formed by the combination of oxygen and hydrogen atoms formed with the fusion reactions. In our solar system, in the nebula revolving around the sun with the effect of the sun's gravity, it was circulating among gas particles consisting of atoms, elements, carbon and silicon atoms, away from the sun's gravitational force. Here, water molecules were formed by the coincidental attachment of oxygen and hydrogen to these dust. It was a pretty slow process. Some of these atoms were attached first, some later. Very rarely, oxygen and hydrogen molecules were able to stay close enough to each other and cycle into each other and interacting chemically. In this process, which continued hundreds of thousands of years, every dust particles went through such a process and enlarged the ice layer around it. By the time the solar system was 1 million years old, countless carbon and oxygen molecules covered with ice. These particles commonly to reach either stones and rocks, eventually the planets. For the first few million years, a giant disk of stones and ice orbited the sun. It took 20 million years to the whole of these to come together and form our planet and other planets. It was a planet covered with erupting volcanoes, flowing magmas, and collided with the rocks. Almost all of the water on the Earth's surface came from the stones and ice that formed it. But since the atmosphere had not yet formed, these water molecules were boiling and flowing to space. However, as a result of geological events explained in the meantime, water continued to rise from the inside of the planet to the surface. Heavy metal, such as iron, were flowing towards the center of the planet, forming the Earth's outer crust, mantle, and the core as we know it today. As the mantle cooled, the water and volatile substances rose to the surface. The heated water vapor came out of the volcanic vents. Thus, 500 million years ago, the Earth's atmosphere and temperature stabilized, and the leaking water vapor cooled and condensed. As a result, it started to rain for hundreds of thousands of years. The elements that make up living things are certain. When these elements are in water and have necessary energy, they form the amino acids, which are the main building blocks of protein and which is the main building blocks of living things. These amino acids turn into proteins, suitable conditions are met, and these proteins, if suitable conditions are met, form the gene and DNA, and thus life on Earth came to existence. The first living things in the Earth was in development. They developed and evolved as time passed, creating current living things. Thank you for listening to me.